Hey everyone, it is Evan here from the Trade Risk on Wednesday, January 30th. We are intraday right now, and this is our weekly trade ideas video where we bring you some of the names on our watch list, stocks that are holding up well, showing some relative strength, and have not yet broken out, run to the upside. So as always, these videos are powered by our partners over at Investors Business Daily, curating ideas from their stock lists. You can get access with a link in the description to this video. Now, first up is a list from a name from IBD's list, and it is ServiceNow, NOW. I do believe this reports earnings later today, so do take this chart with a grain of salt, but I still think it's an interesting one to watch, and perhaps one that'll be interesting post earnings, depending on how it moves. But we can see if we zoom out, first off, you can see it's just been in a monster trend for the past two and a half years. And when we zoom in a little bit closer here, since October, we've essentially carved out this base here, this consolidation pattern between 190 and 155, 160 or so, and we've just bumped up against this resistance here just over 190. It's around this 192 zone, and you can see we're coming right into or closing right into it into earnings. So the reaction here is going to be interesting. Tomorrow is the catalyst of earnings, what's going to get us through these highs and start trending, continuing this long-term trend to new highs, or is this the point where we roll over and start to put in a more significant pullback? We'll see after earnings, but it's at a significant spot right now. Prior leader, not overextended, something to watch for you traders out there that like those earnings plays. Next up, name from our watch list is SAVE Spirit Airlines, SAVE. Not one we've talked about recently, but holding up quite well, actually. It's trading just under its highs. Not quite the all-time highs made back in 2015, but it's spent the past 2 years moving sideways here, very long-term range between, call it $30, $31, and $60. So about a 30-point range there, pretty expansive, but it's at the top end of that range. It's got a little momentum behind it. It's trying to hold this multi-month since October trend line here. So I'd say it's something worth paying attention to. You can see it's trying to react off of these lows here, the support right around $57. Maybe this gets a run into earnings, which is in a couple of weeks. So pay attention here to SAVE. Airlines industry in general has a couple of interesting setups. Next up is HUBS. So this is HubSpot here. Again, coming from our watch list, you can see strongly trending stock, long-term uptrend, high growth name, and you can see it is basically flagging here just under its highs, potentially looking to break or challenge those all-time highs if this can resolve to the upside in a nice kind of continuation pattern, nice and orderly, above 152 or so. That's probably the at least near-term trigger, and then the pivot up here around 158 or so. That would be the actual high here, swing high from mid-January. Last but not least, actually two more. So KDP, this is number 4 that we're looking at right here. This is Keurig, a little bit of a slower name here. I think I charted this one a few weeks ago, and it hasn't moved. Back when it was in this pattern here, we sort of identified it as a potential kind of breakout pattern here from this pullback. You can see it did get underway. It did break out here. It made a few point move to the upside, and now you can see it's kind of consolidated again here with some buyers kind of stepping in right around this 26 area. That's a good level to use as a kind of upper level support, line in the sand, if you will, and we'll see if this can work itself higher back to the November pivot high. Last but not least, we have Crocs, CROX. This one here, I don't think we've looked at anytime recently. You can see it's just been on this fairly parabolic move since mid 2017, starting from around $7 all the way up to $30 tagged just a few weeks ago, and you can see it is pulling off of those highs now and consolidating like we like to see, like we prefer to pay attention to when stocks start to move sideways here, and you can see we're getting exactly the type of action we'd like. Ideally, buyers would hold us above, say, 27.50 to 28 zone here. So if we can find some support here, get lifted up to the upside and start breaking above some of these prior highs, that would be the ideal situation. Still over a month or so, I believe, before earnings. So we have some time in this one before the event. So that's it. 5 names. Hopefully some of these fit your mold here. As always from the long side. As we talked about in yesterday's midweek video, range-bound markets, we've been sideways for 7-8 days now. We get the Fed, which is coming out in just a little bit after recording this. So expect some movement and understand where we are in the broad market context. If we start rolling over, then of course, long ideas like presented here aren't going to be so favorable. So do keep that in mind. But if we do continue the trends higher, we have some nice leading names to pay attention to from this video. So that's it for me. Thanks so much. Every Wednesday, trade ideas just like this. You can subscribe on YouTube or follow us on the Trade Risk blog. Have a great rest of the day and talk to you in the next video update.